Alright, everyone. Welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved
unseen.
Triple U.
Welcome back, guys, to episode 8.
Woo! Episode 8. We've made it.
We're making it. We're almost at double digits.
What is the statistic about podcasts?
Most people don't listen to a podcast if it has less than 8 episodes. Most podcasts end after 3 episodes, and then of those remaining that make it past 3, most quit after I think it's episode 21.
Alright, so our next big milestone is episode 21.
Yep.
Okay, I believe in us. I think we can do it.
So before we get into this, do we have any announcements today?
I honestly, this whole episode's a big announcement, but it's gonna be too late. So
Oh yeah.
other than that, I don't know that we have any other announcements.
If you follow us on Instagram, you probably saw the Carbondale UFO Festival coming up. Or no, it's just the Carbondale Festival. Whoops. Yeah, so that's happening on Saturday, November 9th. And today is Friday, November 7th.
Nope.
Friday, November 8th. Yeah, I can math, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's one day before, so yeah, it's happening, and you guys won't hear about it until after it's over. For anyone who has a time machine, you can go to this after we talk about it. For those without time machine, get good.
I'm hoping that they that this goes well enough that they're going to be doing this every year, because I think that this would be a really, really cool thing to just see how it evolves every single year. So, you ready to get started?
I think I'm ready to get in, but what is today's topic?
Alright, so today's topic is on the Carbondale UFO, which is the center of the Carbondale Festival.
Wait, the what UFO?
The Carbondale.
What's the name of the town?
Carbondale.
So it's the Carbondale UFO, right?
Yep.
I was just making sure. I mean, we could try and propose to them to change the name of the town to Carbondale.
I just think it flows, like,
it
so
does for
well.
the festival, but you gotta remember that Carbondale and Carbondale are two different things. I had that problem last weekend, and you kept correcting me, and now you're having the problem.
Alright, well, we don't need to expose me like that.
Hey, you know what? What goes around comes around. That's what happens for making fun of me last weekend for not getting it right.
Alright. I guess I will concede.
Yay, I win.
Alright, so to get started, located in the rolling hills of northeastern Pennsylvania is a small town called Carbondale. And in the 19th and 20th centuries, this quaint little town was home to the first underground coal mine and the first commercial railroad system in the United States.
Oh, so that's interesting.
I've
I've never heard of this town, and it sounds kind of important.
Yeah. I also never heard of this town, and I did not realize how important it was, but it seems like it is a big deal. Throughout its existence, this town would go from prosperous and growing to suffering loss after loss. And in the years following...
Man, that's bleak.
Yeah. And in the years following World War II, the two main industries that were responsible for the booming economy and growth in Carbondale nearly went extinct due to rapidly developing interstate systems and the growth in commercial trucking that proceeded to put railroads out of business. And then there was also, which I thought this was interesting, because I just listened to another episode that took place in this same town, and it was weird.
Of what?
Morbid.
Wait, Morbid did a story that took place in Carbondale.
It took place in Pittston, which is really close to Carbondale.
Did they mention Carbondale during it?
No, they did not. But anyway,
rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake for sure.
Yeah, rookie for a podcast with what, over 500 episodes?
I don't even know. What's a skill issue?
That's what I was looking for. It.
But anyway, so the Knox mine disaster in Pittston, Pennsylvania was in the early 50s, and this was when workers were ordered to dig illegally, like under the Susquehanna River, without proper safety precautions, despite it being known that there was a state-certified stop line where they had to stop digging. And so due to the digging too close to the river, it created a hole in the riverbed, and that caused the river to flood into all of the mines that were all interconnected in the Wyoming Valley between, like, the western shore, which is Exeter, I guess, and then the eastern shore, which is in Jenkins Township near Pittston, which is near Carbondale. And, like, these mines are what a lot of people that lived in Carbondale at the time were working in. And so obviously it was like a horrible disaster that all the mines flooded. And on top of that, 12 miners were killed in these floods. And it took 3 days to plug the riverbed. And then because of how much water was flooded in, like they ended up having to create islands between the two towns because like they just couldn't get rid of all of the water. And so it altered the western side flow of the Susquehanna River, and that made it difficult even then for um more things to come into this area just from like the fact that the river like just completely changed on one side.
So you said they plugged it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, or else that would have been a lot of coal going into the water supply.
Yeah.
That would, well, probably a lot did go in at the time, but at least it's not still
Well, it was
happening.
water going into the mines.
Yeah, but even if the water goes in, when it fills the mine, the water is still coal contaminated, and the particles will get mixed in with the water above.
Oh, I guess that's true.
So it's at least that got plugged because you know, coal in the air ain't good, but coal in the water probably also not good. Can't
Yeah.
confirm though. I'm not a doctor.
So this disaster, coupled with the stiff market competition from natural gas and oil, because coal was like going out, we were starting to use natural gas and oil more, and like effectively completely ended the underground coal mining, like in what's called which I just thought this sounded pretty, the Northern Anthracite Fields. But
That
that
does
is
sound
what
cool.
like that's what supplied jobs for this area.
What year did this happen?
This was in the early 50s, so this is before the UFO. This is I'm just explaining a little bit of history of the town.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember where we were in the timeline.
Yeah. So, a little bit before this water disaster, there was another disaster in one of the mines. In the 1940s, one of the mine shafts caught fire and began burning underground. This sounds a lot like Centralia, but I couldn't determine if that's the same thing. But it might be. But it says that this was little more than an inconvenience for the residents, but in the early 60s, so 1961, um, the concern about this fire like increased because the fire just started getting bigger and bigger and like more intense. And so in 1963, state and federal resources came together to create a plan for stopping the fire, and that would be digging it out. So they spent 3 years digging out this fire from like underneath the ground in this mine shaft, which displaced thousands of residents that were living in the area and effectively erased half of or a third of the housing that was in the town. So like this town has been through so much. Like
Wait, so this is in Carbondale?
yeah, this is like in the Carbondale area.
Jeez.
Yeah. So after being effectively taken off the map, the little town would then get thrown back into the spotlight in 1974 in the wake of ever growing interest in all things paranormal.
Woo, paranormal.
So here's where we get into the story of the Carbondale UFO.
Oh, we get into spooky territory now. The mysterious type. Ooh. Why you gotta look at me that way when I do that?
Uh,
What, do you think, am I embarrassing?
I'm getting some secondhand embarrassment for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in the late evening of November 9th, 1974, three teenage boys, Robert Gillette Jr. and two of his friends, whose identities I couldn't figure out because there was a lot of places that were all about respecting privacy, so I only ever saw one name, and that was Robert Gillette Jr. They were out riding their bikes by Russell Park in the town of Carbondale. The teens would report witnessing a fast moving, brightly lit object flying across the sky in a westward direction, coming over the top of Salem Mountain. The object reportedly was flying at low altitude, seemed to stop in the mid-air before crashing into the silt pond that was just beyond Russell Park at the south side of the park.
What's a silt pond?
Silt pond, it's like a chemical residue in a pond.
Oh.
So like from
So,
all of the kind of like what you were saying about the coal, I think it's kind of like that.
so a lovely place to take a dip.
Yeah. So the teenage boys would go on to do exactly what we would all do, and that would be immediately go and tell everybody that they could find.
That's what you should do, okay? Don't keep these potential UFOs a secret. Go out, be loud, tell everybody about your UFOs. Doesn't matter if you sound crazy. Do it.
Yeah.
Go into the streets and scream it.
So they would go and find everyone and tell them, like, find anyone they could find, including a group of small children who were really close by hanging out at the park, who was obviously, like, small town gossip was going to spread like wildfire. And then they would go on to tell the police what they'd seen and report that there was now a glowing object sitting beneath the surface of this silt pond. But by the time the police were alerted, like I said, the small town did what small towns do best, and that is spread gossip on the gossip mill. And so children, teenagers, adults, all curious, everybody curious alike, began crowding around the area hoping to get their eyes on this mysterious object in the water. And there in the water was the glowing object.
Was it a bunch of glow sticks?
It was not.
Oh man, there goes my first guess.
Yeah. So it's reported that during this time, while some were gathering at the pond, others were calling the local police to report an object falling from the sky in the direction of the pond, and others were reporting an unidentified glowing object in the pond. So it wasn't only the teenage boys that saw this. There was other people who said they watched something fall out of the sky. So I feel like there's some about like what I don't know
What was
verification.
it? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, a shooting star.
I'm not even gonna justify that with a response.
Wow. Okay, but you technically responded by saying you won't respond. Therefore, you did do a response.
By 9 p.m.,
Just ignore my comment.
police were on the scene in their boats and motoring over to this glowing object. So, which I thought this was kind of funny. Some witnesses reported that at one point one of the officers fired his revolver into the water at the light, but like the Carbondale police department put out an official statement on this that there were no shots fired by anyone throughout the entire incident.
Was
But
was the light resisting arrest down
I
there?
don't know. I
or
don't know.
or did he think he saw a dog down there?
I got no idea. We're not getting political in here.
I'm just making jokes that are online.
All right.
Look, that light was probably resisting arrest.
So the Carbondale Fire Department were called out to the scene in the middle of the night, and with their boat, a net, and other like various instruments, literally could not figure out what they were. They
Maybe
sent
it was a larger net after the first net. That might be the various instrument.
sure. They sent two of the firemen out to investigate this object in the water. And at this point, the whatever was in the water had been glowing for almost 7 hours. And the police were anxious to put an end to this phenomenon before things got out of hand. So this happens like 9 p.m., right, is when the kids see this thing. About 1 a.m. is when the, or like 7-ish something is when the kids see it. 9 p.m. is when the police get there. The fire department's not getting there until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
So, once again, was it silt or stilt pond?
Silt.
Silt. Are those hard to see through? We'll assume because of all the stuff in it, it's probably very murky water.
Yeah, I do think it is murky water, but it wasn't murky enough that you couldn't see that something was glowing under the surface.
But you couldn't see what it was.
Yeah, you couldn't get an idea of what it
So
was.
what? How long did you say it was glowing? 9 hours.
7 hours at
7 hours.
this point.
All right. I don't think it was a glow stick, guys. I'm sorry to my glow stick believers out there.
Yeah, I don't think it was a glow stick either. But these two firemen that they sent out would paddle to the object, and then they were tethered to the shore via a rope that had been stretched across the pond. And this was going to be like in an effort because they didn't know how heavy this object was going to be. So they were like, we'll attach the rope to the boat. If you attach it to the boat, we'll use like all of our power to pull this thing out of the water.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. And so after some time, it does appear that the firemen were able to get a hold of the object. But just as it reached the surface of the silt pond, it slipped out of their snare and fell back into the water.
You can't have butterfingers when you're trying to retrieve a possible UFO. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, are you like a UFO retrieving expert out of silt ponds?
I'm saying you shouldn't have butterfingers.
Okay. So
You gotta have firmly grasp it.
okay, so so they drop the thing, like it falls out of their grasp, and then it like falls into a different location in the water. So like not very far away, but like it is a different location from where it originated. Some witnesses say that the light appeared to move away from the boat on its own,
Ooh,
but to me that's a reflection of the water, like refraction and whatever, like
probably.
that made it look like it was moving on its own, but really it was just falling like at an angle like down to the bottom.
Yeah, stuff in water, it's tricky to see where it is.
Yeah, and so then at this point the light did begin to grow dimmer and dimmer, and then it did eventually go out completely. Like an hour or so later or something like that. So it had been burning like I don't know, 9 hours almost. So later that same morning, so this is now November 10th. Um, so that's the day after the boys that originally saw the object. The authorities and the firemen were still on the scene at the pond, but they were being quickly surrounded by a rapidly growing crowd of spectators and reporters. So the gossip mill here was so strong that like it did not take very long for local media outlets to magnify the story and catch the attention of national news wires and national news networks. So within like 12 hours of this thing being seen, national news networks are coming to the scene.
Hell yeah, we're going viral. That's what any kid wants nowadays, and this town did it back then when it was cooler to do.
So it's reported that thousands of people were traveling to this small town from all over the northeastern United States. So not just northeastern Pennsylvania where this little town kind of is, but like all like Maine, Massachusetts, all that jazz. They're all coming down from there.
Alright, I have a question for you.
What?
If a UFO supposedly crashed into like a lake or pond 4 hours away from us, are we driving to see it?
Absolutely.
What if it's like, wait,
However,
have you ever seen War of the Worlds?
no.
What if it's like a tripod situation from like the movie where everyone gathers to see it and it comes out of the ground and starts killing everybody?
Well, I've always said I wanted to die.
Okay, that's not where I expected this to go. We should
No.
watch that movie together.
We would be people that would go check out this UFO. However, I do believe that a small part of my conscience would reflect back on what I'm about to tell you, and that would prevent me from going.
I'm just going to
So,
say real quick, we should watch War of the Worlds after mentioning that.
okay. Because there were so many people coming to this town, it was blocking like ways to get in and out of the town, and then so many people were like calling and stuff that it was blocking the like communication whatever's channels for like police
Telephone
and stuff,
lines.
the phone lines, yeah. Thank you. And so like people who had like real emergencies might have not been able to get emergency help.
I think an alien might be a bigger emergency.
I don't know. So finally, this tiny little town of Carbondale, located in the suburbs of Scranton, uh, was becoming known for more than just paper making and selling.
Woo! Office mention!
Yeah.
Let's go!
I wrote in my notes, LOL, get it? It's an office joke.
Oh my goodness.
I wasn't sure.
So, man, I can't believe The Office never did an episode where they visit the alien crash or Dwight obsesses about the alien crash.
I know.
They should have.
I should have.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. So not only were civilians flocking to the area, but so were those that were interested in studying the paranormal and phenomena, including UFOologist Matthew Graber, who was hell-bent on determining whether or not this was like a legitimate UFO sighting or crash, or if it was all fabricated. I guess that is going to be up for you to decide, because I never got a true answer on how he felt about it.
Were you able to, like, was he a big enough figure that you could possibly look him up or no?
I'm sure I could look him up.
What's his name?
Matthew Graber.
Matthew Graber.
It's Graeber.
Matthew Graber.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Graeber.
Oh, Aeber.
Ber.
B. Okay, wait. Graeber.
Yes.
Matthew Graber, 2024 baseball roster from Gannon University Athletics.
I do not think that is him.
Matt Graber, director of threat research at Red Canary. Hold up. Let me put in the word UFO.
Yeah, I was just gonna say add something like that. He was a
Obituary of Matthew J. Graber.
UFO researcher. Oh, poor guy.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, so that's where I'm seeing it.
Alright, am I able to continue?
Hold up, one moment. Yeah, I'm not seeing much about him on what his conclusion was. I did find his obituary. He started the UFO Report and Information Center.
Nice.
Oh, no. Wait. No, he starred in it. I don't know.
Okay.
2015, I think, is when he died.
Alright, so acting chief of the Carbondale Police Department, Chief Doddle, now had a way bigger problem on his hands than whatever was in this pond, right? So he had a massive crowd that was continuously growing, and the people there were just like wandering around this abandoned industrial area. Remember, like, this is an old mining town where there's like abandoned mine entrances and other industrial areas. Like, there's a whole spot where they had to dig out a fire. So, like, this, there's so many things that people could get hurt in if they're not careful, if they don't know the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the town was also completely gridlocked by traffic coming into the town. And like I said earlier, the police phone lines were constantly ringing on the walls with calls from random, reported supposed, as they said, quote, UFO experts, end quote. And those random people that were there that were just like genuinely curious, or if they heard about it on the news, they were calling in to see what was going on. So not only was it crowded to like all hell, this is a huge public safety hazard because it would have been incredibly difficult for any emergency services to get around the town. Nor would it be easy for them to even get a hold of the services considering the phone lines were clogged up with those calling about the sighting. And so, like I said earlier, that would be the one thing that would stop me from like going to a sighting nowadays, especially if it's in a small town. Like just
We must flood the small towns with UFO kooks.
no.
We must bring our tinfoil hats too. Should we wear some tomorrow?
No. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat.
That's how the aliens will get her and not me.
I'm gonna be wearing my shirt though. My alien shirt from our first episode. If you listen to that one, you'll know what shirt I'm talking about.
You'll wear the Roswell shirt?
Frankly, you know what shirt I was talking about.
Yep, that. What she said.
So, to assist with this ever growing safety concern, Chief Doddle called on the Civil Air Patrol for crowd and traffic control so that the police department could focus on emergencies and or dealing with whatever fell in the water. So while this was meant to be assistance to the Carbondale emergency services, it did actually lead to even more speculation about the supposed UFO lurking beneath the waters of the Silt Pond in Russell Park. Because word began to spread that, quote, military or Air Force are now on the scene of the UFO crash in Carbondale.
Maybe the story you said is just a cover story for the military.
You could be totally right, and that's exactly what I was thinking.
You never know.
And I'm sure there's other people that thought that too.
There might be people thinking it. I mean, we do know for a fact, at least, with Roswell, the government does even lie about, like, they definitely lie about certain things, saying that Roswell, the story they gave us later on, proved that the initial one was a lie. So, you know, they'll cover up even realistic things. So who knows what they lie about to cover up the alien things?
Yeah, who knows? So, not only that, the police would also spend a lot of time of the day, like of November 10th, that day especially, on the phone with officials from NORAD, which I learned is the North American Aerospace Defense Command.
Yeah, NORAD.
So this is apparently a joint organization between the US and Canada that monitors the aerospace activity in North America. I cannot for the life of me, though, figure out why the heck the acronym is NORAD when it should be NAADC. But I digress. Like, why are we calling it NORAD?
Well, NOR for North America, and RAD because it's radical.
There's only one R.
Okay.
Is
and
it
O for North.
North America and Canada? North American countries? I don't know.
I don't know, but all I know is, NORAD does an impressive thing every year. You know what they do?
I do not know what they do.
They track Santa Claus as he goes across the world
that's
every
right.
year.
I used to get that app every year for my sister when she was a lot
The Santa
younger.
tracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, NORAD's the one who does the
Oh, I
tracking.
didn't
So
know
hey,
that.
you do have NORAD exposure, but those cowards never have the courage to shoot him down when he goes over restricted airspace.
They would also be on the phone
Wow,
with
nothing to
NASA.
that.
No, I'm not dignifying that with a
Hey, two.
response.
I just want to say two Santa mentions 2 episodes. Santa mentioned 2 episodes in a row.
We're getting ready for the holidays.
Hey, take that, Santa deniers. We're Santa believers.
Yes.
We'll
So
celebrate Christmas, but you celebrate Mary whatever.
nothing.
Exactly.
No holidays.
Mary Darwin or whatever.
What?
You and your Santa hating beliefs.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
post those memes when it comes closer.
Okay. So they'd also be on the phone with NASA.
Science Miss. That's what they call it. Merry Science Miss versus Merry Christmas.
Okay. Can I finish my sentence now?
I just want to just say Santa superior to having Darwin come down through your chimney to give you evolution, while Santa gives you presents.
Oh my gosh. Okay. They would also be on the phone with NASA, which I'm assuming that everyone knows what this is, but in case you don't, this is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So, NORAD and NASA were apparently asking questions about the incident, and the police were responding with the information that they were aware of. And then when it was leaked that the police were talking to NORAD and NASA, as I said earlier, this only served to reinforce the belief that this event was so out of ordinary for the area since there was like these huge government agencies involved. So something more was happening here
So it could have
than
been
what
a
was being said.
piece of space debris that hit.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but would that glow for hours underwater?
No idea. Probably not.
Okay.
Unless I don't know. Unless it was some radioactive thing. I don't know what type of space junk would have been falling down to begin with.
Yeah.
We had landed on the moon yet, so we were pretty advanced at that point. What if Neil Armstrong threw something from all the way up there and it just took that long to hit?
I don't think that's how gravity works.
I don't think
Um,
that's how gravity works. Well, why don't you go up to the moon and prove to me how it works?
I'm good. I have vertigo, so that wouldn't work out.
Or would it be too tall if they're going to the moon?
No, getting in and out of, like, being in the rocket would make me sick as shit.
You'll never make it in the astronaut field.
I won't. I'm not trying.
You'll never disprove those flat earthers.
Yeah. So, in the early morning of November 11th, so this is the following day, Chief Doddle decided that he needed to quickly put an end to the phenomenon and get his town back into order.
Damn right.
I punctuated that with little hand motions, but you can't see me.
Wait, what was his name? Donald?
Doddle.
Doddle?
Like Dottle.
Doddle. Old Doddle Law.
Yeah. So he initially ordered the Carbondale Fire Company and other companies from surrounding towns. So like whenever you have um like let's say you have like a really big fire, and I know this because my best friend in the whole world is a volunteer firefighter, so I only know this from her. If you have a really really big fire, they'll do like multiple alarms, and like the more alarms they do, I'm pretty sure like other fire companies from in the area will come to assist. That just means like your fire company can't handle the volume at which like something is burning, or like the emergency is so large that your company itself can't handle it. So that's essentially what he was doing. He was pulling, like he was doing a second alarm, whatever. Not really, but like in retrospect, like
You know, first off, shout out to your friend. Second off, when you're mentioning multiple alarms, for some reason, the first thing I thought of was in The Simpsons when Homer's trying chili and he tries Ned Flanders' 5 alarm chili. It's only 3 alarm though.
okay. And
That's my
so
first thought.
that's what he's doing. He's bringing all of these fire companies and stuff from the surrounding areas to assist in pumping water out from the pond. Like his idea was, okay, we're gonna bring all these fire departments in, and then we're gonna pump the water out of this silt pond. Where are we putting the silt? It's probably not a good idea. In order to retrieve this object from the bottom of it, but this fell through super quickly because it was determined like that the silt and other debris from the pond was clogging up the suction lines, so they couldn't get more than a few inches of water out before they had to like scrap the idea.
Now that one does sound like a skill issue, if you ask me.
Yeah, and so this plan was thrown out, new plan was developed and put into place. This was sending a scuba diver from Binghamton, New York, into the pond to see if he could see the object. So this specific diver, which I didn't find his name. I can't remember if I said whether or not he wanted to be anonymous, but he had heard about the reports on the radio about this mysterious object that was located in Carbondale, and so he drove there that same day with his equipment and an offer to go into the pond to get a look. And so Chief Doddle gave the green light for the diver to enter the pond because he literally couldn't find any other way that they were going to get this object out of the pond. So he's like, "All right, sir, you can go in to this pond." The diver puts his gear on, carefully enters the polluted silt pond, and initially he submerged where that light was observed by the three teenagers. And while the crowd waited on the shores with bated breath, he unfortunately came to the surface with only a few minutes later with no luck. But not wanting to give up, he headed towards where the light had been seen moving after the first failed retrieval from the fire department, so like where the light was suspected to have moved to. And here he submerged again in search of this mysterious object. Returning to the surface a few minutes later, the diver held high what the object was.
Was it a glow stick?
No, it was an electric railroad lantern.
An electric railroad lantern.
Yep. So even Gillette, the one young teenager who was named, that initially saw the flying object, reported in 1999, so this is like 25 years later, that he and his buddies did in fact throw the lantern in the pond as a prank to scare the local children and his little sister. He reported that it was a battery-powered sealed beam lantern. So I'm assuming that's why it glowed for so long, and then the batteries died underwater. They just didn't expect for it to blow up like it did, that's for sure. Anticlimactic, am I right?
Yeah, man, I was really hoping it was going to be a China lantern.
Wrong!
Oh, what? Wrong?
This is not the only version of events told by those in attendance that day.
The plot thickens!
The plot thickens, and so some say that a conclusion hasn't actually been met yet, because mysteriously, there were military vehicles that showed up, pulled something out of the water that was immediately put under a tarp on the bed of a truck, and then whisked away. So this series of events was told to reporters by Kay Pope. She was 15 at the time of the event, and she had ridden her bicycle to the pond after hearing the rumors of this object, and shared that she could see that Russell Park had been cordoned off by the military in their vehicles, and then she spotted that large object being removed from the water and placed onto the flatbed truck. And she said it was surrounded by a lot of people in military uniforms. So while they were on the phones with NORAD and NASA, this is the first mentioning really of actually seeing people with these military uniforms there.
Okay, you know what this sounds a bit like almost now?
What?
The Kecksburg UFO crash. Do you know much about that one?
Well, I know what we know from visiting it.
Oh yeah, I forgot for a moment that we visited it.
Well, we should probably do an episode on that instead of diving into it now.
I know, but I'm just going to say real quick, I'm looking at Carbondale. It is in the top right of Pennsylvania. Kecksburg's in the lower left of Pennsylvania, so we just need one in the top left and the bottom right, and we'll have the four corners of PA UFO crashes.
Nice.
But, well, actually, I'll go into comparisons to Kecksburg later.
Yeah, so many claim that this may have happened overnight or very early in the morning when less people were gawking at the site. It would have allowed for the military to come in, take the object, and leave via less traveled back roads, and headed to wherever it is that the military takes the UFOs.
Well, there's multiple places they could have taken it.
Yeah. So the theory, essentially, I guess, from what I understand, is that overnight, military comes in, takes this object out. That they then bring this diver in the following day. He collects the lantern from the bottom of the silt pond, and that dispels the rumors that a UFO landed in good old Carbondale, Pennsylvania. So, that is the theory. And they did that to, calm people down.
So then on the UFO theory, does it not get hurt by this Gillette guy saying that he actually threw a lantern in?
Well, Frank, what a great question to ask me, because I actually have the answer for you.
I want to hear this answer.
So even our guy, Gillette, in 2016, would tell reporters that at the time, or he told reporters at the Time Leader, which is the newspaper, that, quote, My girlfriend broke up with me, and so I was in a bad mood. I just told them what they wanted to hear, that it was a lantern. It wasn't a lantern. Something got pulled out of that pond.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Man was pissed his girlfriend left him and lied.
Yeah, he was like
Ooh.
so uncomfortable. Like he was just like trying to get them off of his back. So he's like, yeah, it's a lantern. Whatever. I lied. Like it was a prank. But he's pulling
It's
that
just a
back
prank,
now.
bro. It's just a prank.
Yeah, he's pulling that back now, saying it's not a prank. It wasn't a lantern. While not sure if it was a UFO, he does state that maybe it could have been a Soviet satellite. Like we haven't heard that before. And then I wrote in italics, rolls eyes.
I mean, that is a possible thing.
That's what they all say.
Okay.
So he's also quoted as saying, so this does kind of dispel the UFO again. I don't think it was aliens. Some people do. I never called it a UFO, but the official people did. So he's saying it's
Well,
not a lantern, but he's also not saying or affirming that it's a UFO.
well, technically, if he doesn't know what it is a UFO because a UFO is an unknown flying object. And if he saw it flying and crash into the water, therefore it's a UFO. But if we're talking alien stuff, I think like the new correct term is UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
UFO sounds so much cooler.
I know I don't like UAP. That's why I don't use it much.
Yeah.
But I'm saying technically, I don't think I think he's wrong when he says it's not a UFO because he's thinking a UFO an alien spacecraft.
That's very
But
true.
still, UFO is a broad term when you think about it, and the technicalities of the UFO world.
Yeah.
Push his glasses up.
So, to conclude, to bring this all together, in this small town of Carbondale, Pennsylvania, there was a mysterious flying object that was seen floating above the pond and then crashing and falling into it. What would follow was mass hysteria and a gossip mill like no other that would lead to wild theories and quite possibly a military cover up. So while the object may have been whisked away, the stories, the rumors, the tales have not just simply vanished from the town's history, but have rather been cemented by annual festivities celebrating the Carbondale UFO, or as they affectionately call it, the Carbondalian.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
So, Frank and I are actually fortunate enough that we're going to get to join the celebration this year for the 50th anniversary of the Carbondale UFO event. So,
Yep.
funnily enough, the credit for bringing this event to our attention actually goes to my mom, who tagged me and Frank in the event page that was listed for the event by the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau. And as Frank mentioned at the top of the episode, if you saw our Instagram, you might have seen our post about the event because we received some pretty great convincing by the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau to go. And so, because I had looked up where this festival was compared to us, because this is the way up in like around Scranton, Pennsylvania, and from us that's about a 2.5 hour drive. And so I had like written back to my mom like, "Ugh, it's 2.5 hours away," like with a sad face. Um, and then the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau commented back, "We'll see you in 2.5 hours," with a winky face.
Yeah, that means we have to go. Okay, you can't message us that and then expect us not to go. Okay, we're going to go.
Yeah, and so I had written back then like, "Well, I guess this convinced us," but that's not the only comment we got back. So to follow that up, someone named Ricky and Christy Williamson, who I believe are either a vendor at the festival or they own a store in Carbondale called the Crystal Spirit. So I don't know like if their store's having a like a
I think I saw them on a list of vendors.
okay, so that's good then. So check them out if you're interested. It looks like it's a crystal shop, which is really neat. But they replied back to my comment saying, "The aliens traveled farther than that. Come on out and visit our little town. It's gonna be fun."
I guess we have to now. So,
And, oh, it's so good.
so we'll be doing that tomorrow. A little added bonus. My wife and I, we both like hockey. Sage and I, big hockey fans.
Big hockey fans.
We're
It's my whole
Pittsburgh
personality.
Penguins fans, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins are going to be there.
Yeah, and they're the AHL affiliate for the Penguins. So like essentially, it's the lower league that's connected to the Penguins. And so that's why they're a big deal to us.
And we did see a hint at maybe alien-themed
Alien-themed
jerseys.
jerseys!
So if we see those, we'll take pictures of them. We're hoping to...
If it's not $1 million, I'm getting, and then we can buy them. I might be getting my hands on one of them.
So we'll take plenty of pictures and videos from going
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And so with the convincing argument from Ricky and Christy Williamson and the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau, Frank and I are going to be headed up to Carbondale, Pennsylvania for the Carbondalian Festival tomorrow.
Hopefully they make this also an annual thing because I'd go
I do
again
think
next year.
they do a celebration every single year. It's just really
I think
small.
I saw they don't like every 10 years, but not every
Okay, so maybe
year.
it's every 10
This
years.
one's the first in a
Annual, I
while.
think it's the first annual one
Yeah,
where
and
they're going to do it every
hopefully
year.
they make it an annual thing.
Okay, so this is like a different type of episode than what we would normally do. So Frank and I decided that since we were going to be going to this festival and it's 2.5 hours away, we were going to have time to like record a full episode on Sunday and edit it. So we kind of decided that because we were going to the festival, that would be my topic for the week, and that we would record the first half tonight. So it's Friday. And then we're gonna go attend this festival, and then we will update you guys on Sunday. Obviously, you'll get the whole episode Monday, but we'll update you on our experience and what was all there.
Yeah, so kind of a split episode here.
Yeah, and so we will be back when we return from the Carbondalian Festival.
Now, however, you never asked me my final thoughts on the UFO.
I was gonna ask you your final thoughts after the festival.
Okay, then before we do that, I do want to give one comparison though of this.
Okay.
I find this interesting because it kind of reflects, some of the attitude in PA because you said this in 1974, right?
Yeah, it was 1974.
So in 1965, 9 years before, was the Kecksburg UFO crash. It happened December 9th of that year. And
December 9th?
yeah,
This was November 9th.
whoa, I don't think that's really that much of a connection. But you know what? I like the can-do attitude there, okay?
Thank you.
But so on December 9th in 1965, an alleged UFO crashed in Kecksburg, and there's this huge alleged cover up. And we will be covering that. That is on my list of things to do within our first 50 episodes. I have that one slated for myself, I think around in the 30s, so then you'll hear it then. Or it might move it up earlier, who knows? But that one is a huge one, and there's a lot of tension around it. Not as much about the Carbondale UFO, because like if I look up the Kecksburg one, there is a whole entire Wikipedia page for it. Carbondale does not get that special treatment.
Yeah, I will say that like it was kind of difficult to find some information for this, so I really only used a couple sources. So I can't like definitively verify that it's 100% what the story is. So I would encourage you to go do some research for yourself if you're really interested.
We're hoping that tomorrow at the festival we'll get a better idea of some of the stuff, like listen to speakers, talk to people, get there, if there's any remaining witnesses, and then go from there and get hopefully a better idea and report that on the festival update.
Yeah, I'm super excited to check it out.
Yeah. So is that all we have today for this episode here?
That's what we got for the first part, yeah.
All right. So then let's do our normal sign off here. So, as usual, like, follow, subscribe to the podcast. Rate and review. Every listen, every rate, every review helps us out immensely. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. It goes a long way helping us grow because we're just still starting out. And then look for our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter/X. I have not really been posting on that one much because I'm having trouble logging into the account. And then check out Puppysaurus on their Ko-Fi and Redbubble if you want to support them. Oh, sorry, Coffee. If you want to support them, and then that should be it. Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and thank you, Sage, for sharing this wonderful, interesting topic with us. There's not much on this out there, so we'll be one of the few sources.
Yeah.
So, remember
to look for
the unknown,
the unsolved,
and the unseen.
Thanks for listening.
See
we'll
you
catch
guys.
you in part 2.
Woo!